In management matters, due process for workers deemed non-critical sensitive. This week, D.C. Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton and Representative Rob Wittman introduced a bill that would overturn Kaplan versus Conyers. Job protections for 200,000 Defense Department employees hang in the balance. Joining me with the latest is J. David Cox, National President of the American Federation of Government Employees. David, before we get to this new bill, give us some background. What does non-critical sensitive mean?
Non-critical sensitive is that's low-graded employees. In this particular case, one of them was an accounting technician. The other one worked in a commissary, which is basically just like a grocery store. So we are not talking about people that deal with high-level security clearances or big national security issues.
All right, so tell us more about Kaplan versus Conyers. How did it impact the federal workforce?
It impacts the federal workforce in the fact that it denies them the right to have due process for any type of personnel actions. Before this case, employees could go to the Merit System Protection Board, called MSPB, if there was some type of personnel action against them. In these particular cases, one of them dealt with one of the employees. It was an indefinite suspension. The other one, it was a demotion. The MSPB is the independent group that decides whether those cases were right or not. And now these employees have lost that right and can go nowhere with it.
Now, the Supreme Court declined to hear this case, so legislation is the only remedy. You support the Norton Whitman bill. What would it accomplish?
Eleanor Norton Holmes and Rob Whitman, bipartisan support, something we're very, very proud of. It would restore those rights to those employees. It would give them the opportunity to be able to go to the MSPB over personnel issues that they were in the past able to go to, and would give them more rights. And what we have seen is a constant erosion of federal employees' due process rights. And without those, we will go back over 100 years in this country where we'll have a politicized workforce, and we'll have, the spoil system that we worked so hard to get away from, and not have the professional civil servants that we currently have.
David, following up on what you just talked about, it's an election year, and I'm wondering if that helps or hurts you. This is bipartisan legislation, but that's no guarantee of success. Do you expect this bill to pass without a fight?
There's going to always be a fight
in
the United States Congress over breathing air nowadays. I think we get a fight in Congress. Right. But we believe that it's good legislation, that we believe both of these are very, very strong members that will be able to pull both parties along and get this legislation moving.
Before you go, I'd like to step back from this specific bill for a look at the big picture. Generally speaking, do you feel the constitutional rights of federal workers are under attack?
We are constantly seeing those rights under attack, as we have seen in this case, as we have seen in many other cases. In the VA recently, an erosion of the executive service employees' rights, and now there's legislation trying to be introduced that would get rid of those same rights for rank and file employees. And again, due process is a fundamental right of this country. That's how we have a professional civil service that we have, and we do not want to go back to the spoil system that we had many, many years ago in this country. Due process is just an important thing. It's a fundamental American right.
We'll keep following this legislation. J. David Cox, National President of the American Federation of Government Employees. Thanks again.
Thanks so much for having me. Glad to be with you.